Welcome back to Donna and Friends, and thanks for joining us this segment with my friend Jan Neufeld. How are you doing, Jan?
I'm terrific.
Now, I just met Jan recently at a fabulous meeting that was held at the Cushing Country Club, although I've just recently learned it travels around, but it was with this fabulous group, the Route 66 Community Partners. And I love these, by the way, and we're going to kind of talk about these cards that you gave me when we had the meeting and I met you. So tell me about Route 66 Community Partners.
Route 66 Community Partners is an organization. It's a regional organization. There's 25 different communities on the back of here. It shows each community. It was designed around the highways. We kind of just had to pick an area. But it's to group together and work together. We have three main goals. First one is to promote tourism throughout our region. Second is to establish a collective legislative voice. And the third is to enhance opportunities for economic development. We started out, the easiest part, is to promote tourism. We have a website up and going, which is route66communitypartners.com. And the goal is that all 25 communities would have all of their events on that one calendar. So somebody from within the region or outside the region can look and see, oh, I can go to Meeker for this event and go over to Prague and do that and circle around and go and do all those things.
Well, I have an immediate benefit I see with having that large of a calendar base is if I'm involved, for example, with an organization here in Cushing and we want to set up an event, we can go and look and see who has already scheduled events for their community so that maybe ours don't clash with that.
Yeah, they don't clash, but sometimes they can benefit each other.
Yes.
Like we have the ice cream festival in Chandler, right?
Yes.
And then they can leave that and they can come up and go to the wine festival in Stroud all at this,
make a
day
day of it.
Right.
Right, mm-hmm. Right. Well, what a fabulous thing. Now, I want to focus though on some of these communities that are not part of this. I think it's really important to get the message out because if you're listening and watching right now and you hear your community's name called, there's a way for you to be involved too. So let's go through the ones that do not have an involvement. Can you kind of,
yeah.
I mean, if you don't get every one of them, it's fine. But let's just kind of hit on that a little bit.
Well, we'll go down the whole 25 and Agra.
Okay.
We don't currently have anyone from Agra attending. Boley, we don't have anybody from there. Bristow, they have started attending and we are really excited about that. We're going to be having a meeting in Bristow here pretty soon, one of our first Thursday of the month meetings. Kearney, we don't have anybody from there. Chandler, of course, I'm from Chandler. Cushing is very involved. Davenport is very involved. Depew has not been involved. Drumright had some involvement, but we kind of lost her, and so we're looking for new people from Drumright. Do think that they are going to start coming, though. Kendrick has not been involved. Manford has not. Meeker has not, but I think I've talked to a couple people there and I think that they're going to get on board with us. Milfay is not. Oilton is very involved. Payton is not. Perkins is involved. Prague is very involved. Ripley has not been. Sparks has not been. Stillwater has been to a small degree, and a lot of their involvement is helping us get the word out, putting our rack cards in their centers. Stroud is very involved. Tryon, we have not had anybody. Warwick, we have not had anybody. Or Wellston or Yale. Wellston and Yale both, have had some people saying that they might. So.
From the time of the conception up to this point, about how long have the meetings been going on?
Well, for that first meeting, I think it was 2 to 2.5 years ago, where 3 communities met in here in Cushing at the Cushing Country Club, had a little meeting just to say, what can we do? Can we work together, to help us all?
Right.
Because that's something that, when we get into the economic development part, we saw, it's that Friday night football mentality of, jealousy and that kind of stuff. And, we've worked very hard and worked together to realize that, no, if it benefits one of us, it's going to benefit us all.
Yes.
Bringing
Right.
jobs into our region and that kind of stuff. So we're excited about that.
One of the things that was really the main subject for the meeting held here recently with Cushing Country Club, although the speaker was unable to attend, was grant writing,
Yes.
which I found very interesting, even the knowledge that you have had and experience too with grant writing. Can you share a little bit about that, even though we didn't get to see our speaker, and I hated that?
She was there to kind of, help us find, because the most difficult thing about grants is finding the grants that are available that suit your needs and what you're looking for. And that's very time consuming sometimes if you're just out there saying, okay, and looking for them. So she was here to help us see, what grants are out there and what might fit for all of our communities individually and then our region as a whole. But for our region as a whole, we were able to apply for a SET grant, Stronger Economies Together. It's a federal program, and I encourage anybody to apply for that next year. It's an annual thing. It does require 3 contiguous counties to be working together. It was exactly what we had put together, and we didn't know how to go any further with the economic development part because of the Friday night football stuff. So it has really helped us in what we're doing in those meetings. Those are once a month. The modules, they're usually from noon to 4, and lunch is included. And everybody gets together and we're focusing on what are our assets? What do we have right now in our region? What do we need? What are we outsourcing? What widgets are people going to Oklahoma City or Dallas or places for that could actually be produced right here in our region? So,
Concept.
yes, and we really need people from all the different communities to be there, and provide input, because a lot of it we don't know. There's a lot of stuff that's going on in Oilton, manufacturers and stuff that nobody knew about.
Right.
So we really need to have the input, from them. But once we finish this process, we will have a action plan that we can use to apply for all kinds of grants for our region, and I really believe that we're going to be able to do some good things.
Can I just pick on Perkins a little bit? Just a tiny bit. I can't help myself. Anybody that knows me knows that. I can't help myself, but there were grants. I know a lot of people in this area have wondered how Perkins was able to put together that wonderful exhibit, I call it, of a park over there at Perkins with the splash pad and the train and depot, all of that. So that's all done with some grants to a degree.
Yes, it was all started on grants. I worked at the city of Perkins at that time and had the opportunity to write those grants. David Sasser is real involved in all that and had a vision, for what he wanted to do there. And we got together and 5 different grants went into the making of getting it started.
Yes.
And once I've been gone, I'm sure they've added a lot more things, and I don't know, what all they've done to do that. But yeah, it was all grants. And again, it's finding the grant that matches what you do and then following what they want to a T. Every single thing, exactly what they want, you have to give it to them, because I've talked to a lot of people who review grants, and boy, if you didn't dot that I, they get to throw it out. And when they've got a stack this big, they love throwing them out.
So is it like a paper frenzy in places like that? And they're just going, no good, no good, no good, no good.
If they say don't staple it, and it's stapling it, it's out. So that's the key, is just looking and reading exactly what they're asking for and giving them exactly what they're asking for.
Well, there you have it, Cushing community. That's how a lot of that project was funded, through grants over in Perkins, and it's amazing to me, and it just continues to flourish and be built upon over there in that area, and I'm just like, my goodness.
I want to make sure we get time to cover the legislative aspect too.
Let's do it right now.
Because, with the legislature back in session right now, there's a lot of stuff going on. And I truly believe it's not so much Republican versus Democrat anymore. It's rural versus rural, urban versus rural.
Right.
And we need to stand together. And we need to show the legislators that, hey, you know, just because it's good for Oklahoma City and Tulsa doesn't mean it's good for us.
Right.
You know, we need to look at the whole state. There are a couple really big issues. One is the sale of the railroad. A lot of people don't know that the state is trying to, or the ODOT, part of the state, is trying to sell off the part of the railroad between Sand Springs and Oklahoma City, basically, through there. And if a large railroad corporation takes it over, we're not going to be able to run those small trains through there that
No.
really benefit
Yeah,
our
tourism and,
well, and it's not just the passenger. Passenger rail is a part of that.
Right.
But then there's also like Watco and some other people out there who can't do 100
Yes.
cars.
yes.
You know, and these bigger railroads, they're not going to want to go, you know, without 100 cars. So it's real important that we stand together, we band together and show them, you know, and look, another one is the Arts Council.
Okay.
You know, talking about mingling the Arts Council with tourism and taking away their funding would be very devastating to
Yes,
our region.
Yes. Well, they're giving me like a wind-up sign here, but I tell you what, you have to come back. That settles
Love
it
to.
right there because legislation is in session, and so we can have you come back and give us some updates on things that concern this.
Okay.
Real quick, give a contact number out if someone is wanting to ask you questions about this.
Okay, it's 405-258-3200. That's the city of Chandler.
Okay.
That's where I work, and the best way to get a hold of me by phone.
All right. Well, I thank you for coming. I have a feeling you're going to be back. Just another one of my friends. Stay tuned for more of Donna and Friends right after this. Thank you so much, Jan.